Tottenham finally find reasons for optimism even amid heavy defeat to Chelsea. By Thomas Tuchel's own assertion, there were no tactical tweaks at halftime against Tottenham Hotspur. The praise laid at his feet as Chelsea charged to a 3-0 win off the back of their second-half work alone, he felt, was misguided. "Actually, we did not change the system," revealed the head coach when asked of a notable shift from being dominated to doing the dominating. "That is maybe the whole point. It seemed we changed the system, but we just played it with more belief, more energy, more quality. Sharper." Bringing that belief, energy, quality, and sharpness was N'Golo Kanté. The credit sent Tuchel's way was redirected to the Frenchman, who came on at halftime with interest. "If you have N'Golo, you have something everyone is looking for. You have everything that you need in midfield with work rate, intensity, ball wins, skillful play, off the ball, with the ball, dribbling and even a goal. A scrappy goal, it must be said, benefiting from the wickedest of deflections. But an important one, giving Chelsea a 2-0 lead, deflating the hosts and prompting the first cohort of disgruntled Spurs fans to head for the exits. The luxury of calling on a two-time Premier League champion, Champions League and World Cup winner from the bench is a measure of the disparity between the squads Tuchel and Nuno Espirito Santo had to call upon. Kanté's introduction for the second half was also the biggest compliment to Spurs' work up to that point. Chelsea, perhaps a team who manage games better than anyone, as they showed to close out this encounter, could not live with Spurs' intensity. Nuno's side were sharp with the ball, both with its movement and how it was wrestled back. Spurs won almost twice as many duels in the opening period, 34-18, shading possession with 52% against an outfit who are often on the right side of this metric. They had just 34.3% against Liverpool last month, when Reece James was sent off in first-half added time. Aggressive and very brave was how Tuchel described Spurs' initial approach. Nuno's starting's eye looked a gamble. With question marks over key personnel following the 3-0 defeat to Crystal Palace and the Europa Conference League stalemate with Rennes, the team sheet felt like something out of a video game rather than necessity. And comprising purely of the best available ball players. And it worked, for a bit. Those who took to the pitch at 4:30 p.m. did so with no uncertainty and no sense of inferiority. All to a man armed with clarity. When they pressed high, they did so with conviction and were rewarded with possession deep in Chelsea territory on numerous occasions. The usually unflappable Thiago Silva and Antonio Rudiger misplaced the odd pass, at times even losing their first touch. Most encouraging was what Spurs offered going forward beyond the known quantities of Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. Giovanni Lo Celso, stationed as the auxiliary forward on the right, ventured into midfield and occasionally behind Kane when the situation presented itself. Those movements, when mimicked by Son, allowed Dele Alli to drift over to the left touchline. Mason Mount, who was replaced by Kanté, was forced to do more towards his own goal. In between shifts of breaking up whatever Mateo Kovacic and Jorginho tried to conjure and offering an alternative hold-up option to Kane, Dele's movement was a nod to the dynamic midfielder of old. When Tanguy Ndombele wasn't using his hips to misdirect and create space, to start or continue moves from deep, he was showcasing those dancers' feet. One notable mazy dribble that rendered Chelsea's right-hand side utterly inadequate felt like a flex of Spurs' control at the time. File it under moments preceding unfortunate events, but the cheers from the home crowd that accompanied the halftime whistle was as sincere as they have been these last 3 seasons. The match was goalless, the end of the half to Chelsea's advantage rather than Spurs. The 45 plus 2 minutes of play was arguably the best woven together since the best of Mauricio Pochettino's tenure. And yet a group of fans that predict rain tomorrow when the sunshines went into the interval with authentic hope of a brighter future. Just maybe not the following 45. Now, waking up on Monday nursing a consecutive 3-0 Premier League defeat, that faith will be severely tested, if not broken entirely. That first half performance lost in a sea of here we go again. Or as Chelsea fans sang, it's happened again. Nuno, however, believes otherwise. To him, the contents of that half and his 8th game in charge should not be regarded as a norm to pursue, rather than an anomaly. Now, I honestly believe the first half was really good, said the Portuguese manager. The energy that we put on the pitch, the attitude, the spirit the players had. So if there's only one positive today, that was the first half. He was keen to point to the nature of Chelsea's first 2 goals, a corner 4 minutes after the restart, then Kanté's borderline fluke, which altered the dynamic of the fixture, and then settled it. Even before Antonio Rudiger's crisp finish on 90+2, the game had morphed into one-way traffic. Chelsea finished with enough chances to win by 5. Lest we forget, a crisper first touch from Son on 33 minutes might have resulted in a meaningful finish instead of a tame poke into the midriff of an on-rushing keeper. Other nearly moments came with Sergio Reguilón's weak cross that failed to find Lo Celso at the back post in a 2-on-1 situation, and a handful of poorly executed final third balls that should have created more openings. There is a saying about ants and wheels that comes to mind here. But that's not to say time spent wondering what if is time wasted. However, the most pressing question for the 33 remaining games, not just Arsenal this Sunday, is what now? So much of the focus internally at Spurs has been about righting the wrongs. And no doubt when they revisit Sunday at the start of this week, the focus will be on how Del could have tracked Thiago Silva's late run into the box better and identifying who of Dyer or Christian Romero should have closed down Conte. But they should also rewatch that first half and heed the positives. To recognize that not only did they frustrate one of the best drilled teams in the world, but bettered them with such quality that Tuchel doubted the attitude of players who have been nothing but trustworthy to him over the last 8 months. They ran rings around the defending European champions. Out-muscled and outclassed the favourites for this season's Premier League title. Even if it was only for a half, that counts for something.